There is a small island in the western Pacific that could determine the future of the world. Its population is only around 23 million, but its factories produce some of the most advanced computer chips on Earth. China says Taiwan is part of China. Taiwan has its own elected government, military, currency, and democratic political system. And the United States has made clear that peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait are important to its interests. Now imagine what could happen if the tension between these three sides suddenly turns into a major crisis. Global technology could be disrupted, trade routes could be threatened, financial markets could react, and countries across Asia could be pulled into a confrontation. So why is Taiwan so important? Why does China want it? Why does America care so much about it? And why do experts around the world watch this tiny island so closely? To understand the answer, we have to go back through Taiwan's complicated history. Taiwan has been home to indigenous Austronesian peoples for thousands of years. Over the centuries, people from the Chinese mainland also migrated to the island. European powers became involved in Taiwan during the 17th century. The Dutch established a colonial presence there in 1624. In 1662, Koxinga, also known as Zheng Chunggong, defeated the Dutch and established a regime on the island. Later, the Qing Empire took control of Taiwan in 1683. Taiwan was then administered by the Qing government for more than 2 centuries. But the political map changed again in the 19th century. In 1895, after losing the First Sino-Japanese War, the Qing government ceded Taiwan to Japan under the Treaty of Shimonoseki. Taiwan remained under Japanese rule until the end of World War II. Then came another major turning point. In 1945, Japan surrendered and the Republic of China government took control of Taiwan. But the biggest change was still ahead. Because China itself was entering a civil war, the Chinese Communist Party and the nationalist government, known as the Kuomintang, were fighting for control of mainland China. In 1949, the Communist Party won the civil war on the mainland. Mao Zedong announced the creation of the People's Republic of China. The nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek, retreated to Taiwan. From that moment, 2 governments claimed to represent China. One was based in Beijing, the other was based in Taipei, and the Taiwan Strait became one of the most sensitive borders in the world. For decades, the situation remained tense. China wanted Taiwan brought under its control. Taiwan developed separately, and the United States became deeply involved in maintaining stability in the region. Over time, Taiwan itself changed dramatically. What had once been governed under authoritarian rule gradually became a democracy. Martial law ended in 1987. Political competition expanded, and Taiwan eventually developed a fully democratic political system with regular elections and peaceful transfers of political power. Today, Taiwan has its own government and conducts its own affairs. But Beijing continues to claim Taiwan as part of China. The Chinese government says that Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory and that reunification is a national objective. Beijing says it prefers peaceful reunification, but it has never renounced the use of force. Taiwan's government rejects Beijing's claim of sovereignty over the island and says Taiwan's future should be determined by its people. This disagreement is at the heart of the Taiwan question, but history alone does not explain why Taiwan matters so much to the modern world. For that, we have to look at something much smaller. Something that fits inside a computer, a semiconductor chip. Modern life depends on semiconductors. They are inside smartphones, computers, cars, servers, medical equipment, industrial machines, artificial intelligence systems, and countless other technologies. Taiwan became one of the most important centers of semiconductor manufacturing in the world. A major reason is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, better known as TSMC. TSMC was founded in 1987 and pioneered the dedicated semiconductor foundry business model. Instead of designing its own consumer chips as its main business, the company manufactures chips designed by other companies. That model helped create an enormous global semiconductor ecosystem. Today, TSMC manufactures chips for many different industries, including high-performance computing, smartphones, automotive technology, and artificial intelligence. In 2025, TSMC reported manufacturing more than 12,000 different products using hundreds of process technologies for hundreds of customers. The company also operates major manufacturing facilities in Taiwan and has expanded production capacity into the United States, Japan, and Europe. This makes Taiwan economically important far beyond its size. Because if the world's advanced semiconductor supply chain were seriously disrupted, the consequences could spread across the global economy. And that is where geopolitics meets technology. China wants Taiwan. America wants stability in the Taiwan Strait. And the global economy depends heavily on keeping semiconductor production and international trade moving. But there is another reason Taiwan matters. Its location. Taiwan sits along a strategically important part of the Western Pacific. It is close to China. It is near Japan. And it sits along major maritime routes connecting Northeast Asia with the wider Pacific and Southeast Asia. For China, Taiwan's location is closely connected to national security. For the United States and its allies, Taiwan is part of a broader strategic picture involving the Indo-Pacific. That is why military developments around Taiwan receive so much attention. China has spent decades modernizing the People's Liberation Army. Its navy has expanded. Its missile forces have developed. Its air capabilities have improved. And Chinese military aircraft and naval vessels regularly operate around Taiwan. But military pressure does not always mean an invasion is coming tomorrow. Countries can use military exercises, patrols, aircraft, ships, economic pressure, cyber activity, and diplomatic pressure to influence an opponent without starting a full-scale war. This is one reason the situation is so difficult to predict. In July 2026, China conducted live-fire military drills near the Taiwan Strait. And in August 2026, Taiwan completed its annual Hong Kong military exercises, which included scenarios involving a possible Chinese blockade. These developments show how seriously both sides are preparing for possible crises. At the same time, Taiwan has announced plans to increase its defense spending. Taiwan's president has proposed a 2027 defense budget exceeding 1.12 trillion new Taiwan dollars, or more than 31 billion US dollars. The goal is to strengthen Taiwan's ability to defend itself and increase resilience against pressure from China. But there is one question that makes the entire situation even more complicated. What would America do? The United States does not have formal diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Instead, Washington has maintained unofficial relations with Taipei for decades. Under the Taiwan Relations Act, the United States has provided Taiwan with defensive support and has maintained a policy designed to preserve peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. But Washington has deliberately avoided giving a simple public guarantee about exactly how it would respond to every possible attack. This approach is often described as strategic ambiguity. The idea is to discourage China from using force while also discouraging Taiwan from taking actions that could trigger a major confrontation. It is a difficult balance. If America clearly promised to intervene in every situation, China could see that as a direct military commitment. If America completely abandoned Taiwan, Beijing might believe the risks of using force had fallen. So Washington tries to maintain uncertainty. And that uncertainty is one reason the Taiwan Strait remains so tense. But the consequences of a major conflict would not be limited to China, Taiwan, and America. Japan would be watching closely. South Korea would face enormous economic and security concerns. Countries across Southeast Asia would have to make difficult choices. Global shipping could be affected. Technology companies could face supply shortages. Financial markets could experience major instability. And the global economy could face a shock. That is why many countries have a strong interest in preventing conflict. There is another important point. China and America are not completely separate economies. They remain connected through trade, investment, technology, and global supply chains. That makes the situation different from the Cold War between America and the Soviet Union. During the Cold War, the two economic systems were much more separated. Today, China and America compete while remaining economically connected. That creates a strange contradiction. They are rivals, but they are also deeply connected. They compete in technology, but companies and consumers still depend on international supply chains. They compete militarily, but both have an interest in avoiding a catastrophic conflict. They disagree over Taiwan, but both know that a war could have consequences neither side can fully control. So what happens next? Nobody knows. China could continue using economic and military pressure without launching an invasion. Taiwan could continue strengthening its defenses while maintaining the existing political status quo. America could continue supporting Taiwan while trying to avoid a direct confrontation with Beijing. Or a future crisis could suddenly change everything. That is why Taiwan is often described as one of the world's most dangerous geopolitical flashpoints. But there is an important lesson here. Taiwan's importance is not simply about territory. It is about history, identity, democracy, military strategy, technology, trade, and the balance of power between two of the world's most powerful countries. A small island has become a major part of the global technology system. Its location makes it strategically important. Its political status makes it one of the most sensitive issues between China and America. And its semiconductor industry makes its stability important to businesses and consumers around the world. That is why the Taiwan question is much bigger than Taiwan itself. It is a question about what the international system will look like in the coming decades. Will China and America find a way to compete peacefully? Will Taiwan remain in the current status quo? Will economic and technological competition become even stronger? Or could a future crisis push the region toward a conflict that nobody actually wants? There are no easy answers, but one thing is certain. The story of Taiwan is no longer just an Asian story. It is a global story, and the decisions made around this small island could affect the future of technology, trade, security, and international power. For decades, China wants reunification. Taiwan wants to preserve its current democratic system and determine its own future. America wants to prevent a major conflict and maintain stability in the Indo-Pacific. And the rest of the world is watching. Because sometimes, the most important place on the map is not the biggest country. It is the smallest place where the interests of powerful nations collide.